Hello everybody, Gene Wisniewski here from ATN, also known as the Mailman. And this, along on the hunt with the Mailman, I'm going to take you with my grandson, E-Money. We're going to go after his first buck here. We're on a piece of property. We're going to walk you through the setup. I love to take youth hunting. My best memories are with my dad hunting. My son, I took him, and I hope that his best memories are with me. ATN optics allow you to record and capture those memories. So we're out here today on a piece of property we're going to talk to you about. But E-Money, you got your first buck. What do you think about that thing?
Pretty big.
You like it?
I wasn't expecting a big 7-point.
A 7-point for his first deer. We all started out, I started out with a spike, was my first deer at age 12. How old are you?
10.
10.
I mean 11.
11. So we're out here on a piece of property that Hunter has taken some nice bucks off of. And we're going to talk about that property a little bit as we sit here. We're on a power line right now, and right beside us is an old stand. It's a piece of property I got permission to hunt, and I don't want to bring my youth hunters onto a power line. Power line are good. You're gonna see deer cross it, but the older deer cross it quicker. I don't want to rush the shot. So what I did is we're gonna walk back in the back here, and we're gonna show you the setup, talk about the setup, and then we'll get back out here and talk about the equipment and what Ethan likes to use out there in the woods to take his first buck. Moved inside here to where our blind is. Ethan's going to talk about that blind in a second. But what I did is I stayed off that power line because deer cross it quickly and they don't like to stay out in the open like that as long. I want to get good video. I want to have deer stay there a long time, and you're going to see in Ethan's video that this buck stayed there a long time, and then we waited for that perfect turn. That's all about your setup. So what I did is I came about 60-70 yards in from that power line when I scouted, and I found an old roadbed right here. And down where that big tree is, that's where you're gonna see Ethan's deer comes behind. Down there is where the oaks start. You got an old roadbed here. It's actually down in, so we got a ditch right along us. Down on the other side there is a real steep banked cliff. It's a creek. Those deer are pinched in between here. When they move from this bedding area over toward their feeding areas, they come right through this area between our blind and that creek. And what I did is I set up here where the pin oaks are. There's some white oaks down there, and if you're allowed to bait in your state, I put a camera down there just to see what comes through. So this is the setup. We're on an old roadbed parallel to that power line, but I like this spot better because the deer stay here a long time. I'm gonna throw up some footage of Hunter's 2 harvests here. Really nice bucks that stayed here a long time, moved around for perfect shots. It's great for youth hunting.
I prefer to hunt in blind because whenever it rains, you don't get wet, and I can get away with movement inside the blind. And we like placing our blind where there's trees down and we have vegetation around us and in front of our blind, because the deers won't see us if we have vegetation, leaves, and trees behind and all around our blind.
The reason why I like hunting blind is because we get away with a lot of movement, and when there's more than one of us. When the deer start approaching our spot, I can get Ethan ready to get on the gun, and when I loosen the bow, he is ready to shoot the deer.
All right, now that we went back, showed you the whole setup, how I like to set youth up, now we're going to talk about the ATN equipment that we use and why Ethan chose the scope that we use. Took him out a couple times. He's taken hogs in the past and squirrels. We love to go for squirrel hunting, and he really likes the thermal. Why you like the thermals, Ethan?
Because I can see animals easier than having a regular scope and having to find the animal.
Right, and we can watch which way they go, and you can see them a little better. The black or the white hot or the black hot, you can really see the animal when it pops out there. So what we did today, while he shot the thermal during the daylight, I recorded with the video you're watching off of that camera. So we're gonna have them side by side whenever we take the harvest, that camera and the thermal. But I also use thermal scanners a lot. I talk about this a lot for deer scouting, and we get to see those deer. I get to see deer before I ever hear them. As I get older, my eyesight gets worse. I can scan with this, and I can see bits and pieces of that heat coming through, and we also gives me a heads up when they're coming in, seeing them before they see us first. Another thing is when we recovered, when we went to recover this deer, it came the whole way out here to the power line. What saved us was that thermal scanner. The 6.5 Grindle didn't leave that much of a blood trail. Generally, I go out with my thermal scanner. We have a thermal scanner, thermal scope. I have another thermal scanner, and we just walk through the woods and we kind of look for it. We walked by the deer, and then we went over and went back, and we'll have a little bit of Ethan's tracking job here in it, but he had that thermal scanner around his neck. You look for that deer, you find that deer, and then you go in. So retrieving is great with the thermals. Hunting is good for the kids. How many squirrels you kill with that thermal now?
About 20
yeah.
to 30.
So he shoots a lot. He shoots really well with the thermal. That's why I chose the thermal on the deer hunt this morning. Not because any other reason, but man, it really pops whenever he looks at that deer and he can see those deer. You're going to see the video pop up here. It's easier for a kid to look than to look in a scope. One time I think we were rabbit hunting, weren't we? And it was really hard to find that animal in that X sight for a youth hunter. He'll eventually get used to it, but the thermal's so much easier.
Okay, all right. E-Money just shot, so explain where you aimed.
So I followed up the leg. I predicted where the shoulder was. I went 3 centimeters back to where the shoulder was, and I shot in the back of the shoulder, and it kicked, and it ran off to the left side, so we're going to go track in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to wait about a half an hour now, and we're going to wait and see. And he used a thermal so he could see it nice and easy, but I recorded with this, so I watched it on there. I think he's a 7-point, but we'll see when we get down there. We're going to take our time, okay?
Yep.
All right. Excited?
Yep.
What'd we see? 5 doe this morning.
We saw
One when we walked in.
We saw like 7 squirrels around them does.
Yeah, and them does stayed for how long? A long time.
An hour.
Yeah.
And a half probably.
Yeah, so we're gonna wait and we'll see what happens.
Uh-huh.
It's recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna let the ball go.
Okay.
Okay, there's the ball go.
Okay.
Safety's coming off.
Okay.
Just wait he turns. He's gonna turn his head to the right. Just wait. Alright, listen, right behind his shoulder.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Listen, right behind his shoulder.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead. Use that scanner. Oh yeah, E. Is it?
Okay.
Now get behind it and pick the rack up. Show us. Good behind it. Around your neck.
Yeah, it's at 7 point.
Pick it up.
Yeah, grab the rack. Show us. What do you think of that one?
Pretty good.
E.
It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. It's a 7.
You happy? Get down on your knee. Look at that smile.